Hi there, I have another unboxing. This is a graphic 45 that I got from Creative Creations. That's Creative Creations, both words start with K's. So I went ahead and cut the tape and let's see what's inside. Beautiful graphic 45. Everybody loves graphic 45, right? Let's take it out of the box. We've got some chipboard ephemera. And this is from the Slice of Life. And this mystery box was $49.99. I had a coupon for free shipping. Nice chipboard pieces. Lots of fruit, nice sayings. And then we've got a tag kit. I do like their tags. Sometimes I spray them with alcohol inks and, mix colors. You wait till one dries and then spritz it with another color. And that makes a nice tag album. And then we've got the regular ephemera, which is still really nice and sturdy. And this is still in the Slice of Life. And you can see there by the prices, they say it's a value of $125, which I would have to agree. Toward the end, I will show you what all I made. We will make a few things together, and then I'll show you everything I got out of this kit, plus the leftovers. It's pretty amazing how much you can get from these. That's why I love mystery boxes, because I can always do something with them. We got card kits. Although I'm not a big card maker, but I'll try to do something with these. So A2 cards. Then these flowers, and I've already created my items, so I can tell you, these flowers are amazing. I would like another pack of them. You'll see on my projects that I layer them. Another card kit. These are the A7 5x7. And then stickers. Nice sturdy, oh, I lost a piece of ephemera there. Nice sturdy stickers. These colors are just so bright and cheerful. And I think they work for any season, really. They might look a little summery, but really I think they'll work for any time of year. So I make one project with this, and then I made a project with the Christmas papers that you'll see here in a minute. But unfortunately, I was trying to conserve memory on my camera's memory card, and I ended up inadvertently deleting that one. So I will make another folio that is just the same to show you, but it's going to be with different papers. I love the little postcard look, or the little journal cards on the back of some of those. Nice stamps, cut aparts there. You can make border strips. That you could just go ahead and put a photo in the middle. And the colors on these are just so muted and they look vintage. Got some keys. Can always use these in junk journals especially. And then we've got 8.5 by 11. Very similar papers, a lot of background. Now we get into the Christmas. I was so excited to see Christmas papers. I love Graphic 45 Christmas papers. This is last year's series, but that's okay because I love working with Graphic 45. And the people that see them at the craft fairs, they're not going to know they were last year's papers. They're just going to think they look pretty because they do look pretty. All those cut aparts. Nice background page there. You get 2 of each. And these are obviously the 12 by 12. More cut aparts. I use that on a cover. Like those checkers. Oh, the cat just jumped on my lap, if you heard that. Nice stamps to cut apart. It's not really fussy cutting because everything's nice straight lines, makes it easy. And then we got the postcards and the journal cards on the back. Sticker sheet. I used almost every one of those stickers you'll see at the end. And then we've got Merry and Bright. The last one, that was Letters to Santa series. And then this one is the Merry and Bright. More of background pages, but they're gorgeous. We've got 2 of each. Berries and ivy. Text there. Oh, that one's so pretty. I think just one more. Oh, maybe 2 more. Okay, so that is our kit or our mystery box, and I really think that we get a lot in here. We are going to start with the Slice of Life and make a recipe book. I sold these at my last craft fair and they sold fairly well. So this is a Christmas one that I made, and I used Prima marketing papers for this. And I put that little cord around it with a charm because I tend to fill them so full. And what I used was 6x4 recipe cards that I got from Amazon, and I'll put the link below. And I used various types. And what I do is I put the recipe cards in, and then I alternate with images that I create from the papers. Now this is the blank that I use. So this came from Dollar Tree, and it's if you look for the frames in picture frames in Dollar Tree, you'll find these. They're meant to be photo albums. If you do find them, I recommend you grab as many as you can because they're hard to find. And now I'm just showing you some different recipe cards that I've gotten from Amazon so you can vary them. And now you'll want your cover to be, they're a little bit larger than the pages, so you need two covers, a back and a front, and they're going to be 6 1/16 by 4 3/4, and then all of your pages will be 6 by 4. Now I like to use my Creative Memories guillotine trimmer for these. If you have papers that aren't 12 by 12, you can use this smaller cutter, and it seems to be more efficient. At least that's the way I like to use it. I like to start this project off by inserting the recipe cards first. And then I come back and do the decorative pages and the covers. Now you can see I had to flip it over there because I wanted the opening on my right side because I'm right-handed, so I insert them from the right side. You could flip it over if you were left-handed and insert from the left. So I go ahead and insert the first 3, 1, 2, 3, and then this fourth page I'm going to do a decorative one. And here we go. So I just sped it up so that you could watch the process and what I do. I go through and I add some stickers and embellishments, just anything to decorate it up a little bit. Some of these were large, but I thought they were so pretty, people wouldn't mind writing around them. I think you get the idea here of how to add your recipe cards and then decorate them a little bit. So we ended up with 34 recipe cards. We've got our 2 covers to do yet, and then 14 decorative pages. And I saved some of the larger pieces or the ones that would make good titles to put in our image decorative ones, and people could put photos of their loved ones on there as well. I like to make examples to take to the craft fair with me of ones I've finished. Now I'm sorting through to choose the best front and back cover. I kind of like that one for a back cover. I'm going to make a pile of the ones that are good contenders. That one might make a nice cover. It also would make a good page for people to put their photos. And this one, look how vintage it looks with the faded, muted colors. So pretty. These would make, like I said before, good borders or stamps. Still searching for the best cover. And I land on this one, and I really think this ends up being the cover. These are the 2 that I chose for the front and back covers. I went ahead and finished this off camera, and we'll go ahead and do the flip through now. So you saw some of these pages where I decorated the recipe cards. And then what I did is I went through and made images where people could put their photos, So we flip 3 and then we should have another image. And it just makes a nice little background to look at, or like I said, to put photos in, do a little bit of journaling. So now I'm going through my crinkle ribbon supply to see what matches. I typically use 2 to 3 ribbons on this project, and I'll show you how in a minute here, but right now I'm trying to select the best colors, maybe some matching, some contrast. And I get this crinkle ribbon from My Scrap Cabin. It's on Etsy, and she does a great job. So now I'm just comparing which ones do I want to put. So it takes a lot of thought. I wish y'all could talk to me while I'm doing this to help me choose. Just trying to compare there. And I finally choose 3. I'll pull them out here in a minute. And then show you how I attach them. So now you find the center of the book, and it has that ridge in the middle. And then I'm just taking this first piece of ribbon to see what size I want. I like to have enough leeway to tie a nice bow, and this crinkle ribbon kind of collapses into itself, and it just makes a lovely bow. And then I'm going to measure the others against that first one and cut them to the length. So I have one that matches, well, really 2, the lighter blue and the yellow matches, and then the brighter, more teal one kind of gives us some contrast. Go back to the center there, and then put your ribbon through and tie a little bow. And voila! I like to add these clamps. They're kind of a page marker, so if you're working on a certain recipe, you can mark your page with that. And I take the same ribbon. Sometimes I do the eyelash yarn instead, but for this one I'm going to use that same ribbon and go ahead and just tie a little knot. Since this video is starting to get a little bit long, I think I'm going to make a part 2. So we'll wrap this one up here. These are all of the things that I was able to make out of this mystery box. And I still have leftovers, which I'll show you in part 2. But right now I'll do like a quick little walkthrough of some of the things I made. And then make sure you come back for part 2, where I show you how to make the travel journal folio. I ended up making 3 of them, and I do a full tutorial on how to make it in part 2. So I hope you'll come back. Thanks for watching.